more, let's go to international economist and business consultant Vicky Pryce. Vicky, thank you for joining us on the show today. We had a little taster there in that report, a strong showing for the far right in some countries, though not enough to win command of the parliament itself. What will this mean for the Commission?
It's really interesting that we have indeed, as you rightly say, seen some countries move to the right, but some other countries move to the left. So you've seen a number of the Nordic countries where more socialist parties did better and where the right wing did a lot worse than had been anticipated. The real issues are France and Germany, where, of course, Macron had been almost forced, or has been almost forced, to call an election, a snap election. There are worries in Germany as well, of course, because the leading, the Chancellor's own party has not done particularly well at all, Chancellor Scholz, and where we have also seen, interestingly enough, Greens generally not doing very well either. So there is a swing that's taking place, but overall, the centre-right, if you want to call it that, in the European Parliament holds most of the seats, and I think that means that we're not going to see any dramatic change in what happens, but some pressures definitely in some areas that particularly whoever is going to be the next European Commission president is going to have to take account of. Things are changing a little bit in terms of some of the climate change policies that they want to pursue, and also, of course, what happens in France if indeed Marine Le Pen's party wins the elections that President Macron has called.
And what about Ukraine? There is a sort of a division in those far-right parties over their policies in Ukraine. Italy's Meloni is a staunch opponent of Russia, but Le Pen's National Rally Party in France has historic links to Moscow. How might aid from Europe affect Ukraine?
Yes, we have actually seen that there has been a bit of a division anyway for quite some time now. Some countries remain, particularly some of the former Soviet Union, if you like, remain still close to President Putin, and they have seen less inclination to support Ukraine. So yes, that drift, if you like, in particular countries' views on Ukraine is going to still be there. The truth, though, is that the EU has no real other choice but to continue to support Ukraine. It has already agreed in a number of measures which will put more money into Ukraine, and also in terms of sanctions against Russia. So overall, I think they are going to come together. And as you rightly say, when there are those types of divisions, I think at the end of the day, you will see the European Parliament push a number of things forward, which hopefully will bring them closer together.
Now, Macron is betting the French public won't be prepared to allow a far-right Prime Minister to head a new government. How big of a risk is this snap election?
It is a risk because, of course, if you do end up with the right wing actually running it, you're going to have the president who is different, of course, in terms of what he believes, and you're going to have the National Rally, which is what Marine Le Pen's party is, perhaps objecting to a number of the things that Macron has wanted to put into place. The gamble, I think, is as follows. I mean, I think President Macron hopes that people will come to their senses, if you like, and this time vote properly rather than just vote for change, which is what seemed to be happening in the European elections, and perhaps vote back his own party, the Renaissance Party, to power again. Or if Le Pen party comes to power, then they will see that they will find it very difficult to, in fact, govern, and therefore, by the time of the next presidential election, in any case, there will not be a move to the right, as everyone has been fearing was going to be the case. So it is, though, a gamble. Neither of these things may happen. People may indeed want to change again and vote for it, and the presidential election next time round hangs in the balance. There is no doubt about that. So yeah, even his own politicians are saying this is a bit of a gamble, and they don't really know how it's going to end up.
And just a few weeks before the Olympics too. Now, 5 years ago across the continent, Green Party politicians ceded seats after a strong showing in 2019, but scientists have said we have to act in the next decade on climate change. What does this mean for green policies in Europe with this latest round of more right-wing seats?
Well, first of all, we have seen that the main losers of these elections have been the Green Party, more or less across the board, not necessarily in the Nordic countries, but certainly in many countries this has been the case. We've seen protests from farmers in particular. Already the EU has gone back on some of the regulations that they were imposing on agriculture because they can see that isn't liked by a large part of its own population. And of course, the farmers have been protesting hugely, sort of coming to Brussels and also protesting in many countries in Europe. So there has been a shift in the Green Party's support, which has been sort of rather negative for them, and the EU has responded accordingly. So I think what it does mean is that there is going to be a slowdown because also the right-wing parties are against quite a lot of the green policies. And the cost of living crisis has been very important in that. But there are some things that are still going to happen. For example, there is the move already to increase tariffs for goods coming in from outside, which use a lot of carbon. The EU has been right at the front of doing this. This is the carbon border adjustment mechanism, which they're introducing. Other countries are copying that too. So there are some things that will be happening anyway, but a lot of stuff on the periphery is probably going to be thought again.
Vicky Pryce, really appreciate your time.